Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Screen Show. Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening. Once again, joined by Elenia.
Hi.
How you been? Had a nice weekend? Let's banter and chit chat before we get into the main. Main courses.
We didn't do an episode last weekend. So.
No, I was in Athens, 37 degrees, very nice.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Why do you have to do that?
I did not miss missing an episode of the show. You know what? I can survive for the 1 week.
Yeah. No, I went to the cinema.
Fascinating.
Fascinating life.
You can tell us more in this show about your cinema adventures.
Yeah.
So let's get started. It's a bit of a mixed bag this week. It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, definitely from the last episode, it was like very, very negative.
Yeah, no, we didn't. I don't know if you actually watched it, but we didn't. I don't think we liked it.
It was kind of on the lower ends of the scale of.
At least we had it to talk about as well.
It was great. Yeah.
It was really.
I was reading up more about it online actually.
Yeah.
You just find out bits and bobs that you miss out.
Oh yeah. What did you find out?
I can't really recall right now. But there are a few things that you read up on, like little bits and bobs that you can't really pick out. Easter eggs, as they call them.
Oh yeah.
It's always great to see.
And then finding out the scenes that they didn't put in.
Exactly. One thing I did find out is when that scene where they see Pennywise on the projector, and it kind of snaps through, and eventually his face comes out. Yeah. That was the first time the kids saw Pennywise. So that reaction when he goes blah and sees teeth and stuff, that's a legit reaction because they didn't know what it's going to be on the screen. Yeah. So when they reacted to that picture, that was actually a legit reaction. Like, wow, that's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they held it back until that to get genuine reaction from the kid. That's cool. Little things like that,
Yeah, I think I read something about how they were going to do his eyes CGI to go in look in different directions, but Bill Skarsgård can actually do it. So he
save them some money on CGI.
Well, yeah, exactly. He gives them money, and that just makes him a little bit creepier.
You can put on his CV, save executive studio some money.
It'll
stand out.
I can make my eyes look in different directions.
Just already noticed that. Anyway, let's get cracking. The first movie under the microscope today is Mother. I'm gonna say it with that because that's how it's said. It's got the exclamation point. Some random reasons.
And all in lowercase because it's edgy.
It's edgy, so artsy.
So art house.
Damn, Aronofsky, you just blew my mind away, man. So, for this one, I actually haven't seen it. So, Elenia, I'm going to be grilling you on this. So, we'll start off. So, firstly, what's my first question? What's it about? So, easy one to start with.
I mean, that's a good question because I don't know. I really don't know. So, they're in a house.
So, give us the background.
So, you've got him and Mother. No one has names. None of the characters. I was even flicking through IMDb and looking at all of the
just
other
call him, her,
her, man, woman, older son, younger son, pisser, defiler, all of these other things.
Yeah. Literally what they are in the film.
Yeah, it's very literal. So him and Mother is Javier Bardem and Jennifer Lawrence. They are living in a house together, and apparently it burnt down at some point.
Go back up pretty quick.
Or it was so it was burnt, and she's been rebuilding it, and he's a poet, and he's having trouble writing, and
it's making a lot of money to have a little nice cottage out in the countryside, as a poet.
Well, I mean,
the best poet in the world.
It is actually a really nice house. It's got like a one of those
Victorian cottage, isn't it?
Yeah. No. It's like a huge one of those, the house I think in The Happening. It was more like that.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's not actually talk about The Happening, but it's more like that. It's got it's like a circular house. It's got a deck running all the way around the outside, and it's in the middle of a field surrounded by trees.
Meadow. Lovely
meadow. Like a meadow with forest or wooded area around as well. It's very, very nice. And then a man shows up. I mean, there's no roads. There's no hint of a car anywhere.
Maybe just came out of nowhere.
Now I'm going to reference The Village. It was like it was like the one house in the village. So the man turns up. It's Ed Harris. He's a bit sick, and he's a fan of Javier Bardem.
So just drop his house. Why not?
Just drop into his house, which is in the middle of.
I love your work. I'm gonna drop your house. Okay.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell him that he's a fan.
Okay.
Mother finds the photo in the man's luggage, and then a woman shows up, which is the man's wife, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Then their sons turn up, and they're fighting, and
you just follow what happens.
Yeah, and you just follow what happens in the house. And Mother gets really confused because she's like, A, why are these people showing up at my house? And B, why is my husband not telling them to go away? And stuff gets weird and messed up.
I've heard. So that probably brings me on to, so this film's been very divisive in the like reviews and critics, you know, appraisals. So I mean, on IMDb and the Rotten Tomatoes, they're not too bad, you know, 67% and 6.4. But Cinema Score, which is like a big website in America, which just judges of the audience's reaction, gave an F.
Yeah.
So that's like, you know, they've called it like one of the worst films of like the decade. Yeah. And there's been a lot of garbage out even this year. So
and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes was 44%.
Yeah. So would you say it's really that bad, or is it just a film that's just open to interpretation? It's just like
you get it or you don't. It's one of those sort of like art house thing, and you will have those people going, but I got it on the first time. I got it.
Even before the film finished, I knew what was happening.
I knew exactly what was happening. Didn't you get it? Really? Because it was very simple. No, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like it started off a bit creepy. Yeah. And you're like asking, why are these people here? Why are they just showing up? Why is he being just a massive arse? And why is she just going, oh, but I love you, so it's fine?
Some sort of submissive relationship.
Yeah, it's a very submissive. It's one of those relationships where like she is so head over heels in love with him, like crazy stupid in love with him.
And even though he's not really a nice guy from the sounds of things.
It's not that he's not a nice guy. He just has a massive ego, and the fact that people are turning up at the house
and
they're
poets and their egos.
Yeah, like they're fans of his work, and like it just builds up his ego, and he doesn't want to turn anyone away.
I think like what probably did skew the film is I've just seen the trailers for it, and it seemed like more of a horror film, and I'm guessing it's not really a horror film, is it?
No,
I think the trailer sold one thing.
Yeah, there were a couple of people jumping in the cinema, but then people just started laughing because it was ridiculous. Yeah. Like hundreds of people turn up at the house and start just trashing the place and stealing stuff. And like you see it in the trailer, they beat her up, and
it gets very violent.
It gets very, very ridiculous, and then it gets really messed up. Like we were talking about the scene.
We'll leave that for people who want to watch it, because I don't even want to mention that scene, to be honest.
There's a scene that is horrifying. You're not quite believing that they've actually put it in the film. But
it's artsy, so...
It's art house.
Apparently.
But yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of symbolism.
I'd say that's where it definitely probably did mess it up a bit, because I think it was sold as one thing and it was something totally different.
Yeah.
Aronofsky his films he does are very twisted in a way. Like his previous work is Wrecking for a Dream, Black Swan, they're all like trippy psychological, dramas. So
yeah, I've never seen any of them. So going into Mother, I didn't really know what to expect from him, which is probably why I was a bit like, why does none of this make sense? And then
he directed it, he produced it, he did everything.
He wrote it.
Like only he could write and do it. Like imagine writing a film, giving it to directors, and I want you to make this. He'd be like, I don't even know where to. I don't even know where to start with this. So you have to pretty much write.
Yeah, apparently some of the actors didn't even really know what was going on, which is why sometimes sometimes their performances were a bit like, what are you doing here?
So bring that, how are they? I mean, Jennifer Lawrence was she's a bit of a hit and miss. I don't really see her as a massive. I mean, she's popular, but acting-wise, I mean,
her face is very blank. But I think I noticed that because the shots are very in the faces. There's not a lot of like wide angle shots. There's not a lot of panning out. It's very, very intimate. To be honest, Aronofsky
is dating Lawrence. We're like, here's my gorgeous girlfriend. Zoom into her face at any opportunity.
Yeah. But it was no. I think the performances were pretty good. And actually,
I mean, the cast is stellar, isn't it? Lawrence, Bardem, Pfeiffer, Harris, Tom Gleeson, who's everywhere.
Tom Gleeson is everywhere. Like I was saying this before. He was in the new Star Wars series.
What's he doing in the new Star Wars? I can't picture his role.
He's a general in The Last Order.
Okay, fair enough.
And then he was also in an American Made as well.
Was he in the previous one, New Hope? Or what's it called? Force Awakens. Was he in that?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
He
was on the like planet.
Yeah, the fake cannon planet. What's it called? Battleship something.
The Death Star Point 2.
Does actually sound familiar. Yeah. I didn't recall him actually. Yeah.
Yeah. But and then he was in American Made as the CIA agent, and he was great in that. And he's also got loads of stuff coming up, like Peter Rabbit and Goodbye Christopher Robin, which is like Winnie the Pooh film. And
is it dark? Is it going to be a dark Winnie the Pooh kind of film? Everything seems to be dark nowadays. It's going to be like a dark twist.
Always set at night.
It's going to be
no, it looks like it's going to be quite a sweet film, more along the lines of other kind of like biographical kind of things.
No dark twist on Winnie the Pooh. don't think the world's ready for that, man.
I don't think Winnie the Pooh can get dark.
To be honest, it can.
Yeah.
It's on the internet. If you want to see some dark stuff.
I don't think I do. But
So we kind of go back on a tangent now.
Go back to Mother.
Yeah.
And then you've got Kristen Wiig as well, who full on executes people in the back of the head.
Where did that come from? Like, she is so totally like comedy.
Yeah.
Like, from this film, like suddenly like brutal, like execute.
I was very surprised to see her because she shows up as hymns.
That's from Javier Bardem's.
Whatever. Bardem's like publicist person, and she makes a fuss over Mother and all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden she's walking through a room and she's just holding her arms down like that, and she's just shooting people in the back of the head, and I'm like, what is happening?
Okay, fair enough.
But it's supposed to have a load of different like.
I don't know why they threw her in that kind of role. It does not seem like.
I mean, she wasn't really in it for that long. She probably has about 5 minutes of screen time. But yeah, I read up all of the different connotations and
probably had to.
and interpretations afterwards because I was like, I don't know what happened. I need to know what's going on.
It is kind of weird. There aren't many films that come out and think I have no idea what. Like, I mean, usually I have some sort of, even if it's wrong, it's sort of like, okay, I think I know what happened. I think I can connect the dots.
Yeah, but for someone like me who hasn't seen a Darren Aronofsky movie before, who isn't really like clued up or well read about like the Bible and religious stories, it just didn't really make much sense to me. And then so it's got the biblical thing, it's got kind of the male ego, female intuition, even though
it's thrown up.
She's the one in the house saying, you need to get rid of these people. Babe, you need to get rid of
these
people.
No.
And he's like, no, but they love me. And I'm like, you know what? Leave. You know what? It's a house with a door and you can leave. And then.
But they live in the middle of nowhere, so where's she going to go?
And then it's like humanity and it's
got a lot of themes basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll probably to round it off. I mean, this is probably a new question. How would you have improved it to make it better? Like if you had some control over it, what would you have done to like?
I think I would have stuck with one theme because you've got the biblical, the ego, and then the humanity taking advantage of Earth and things like that.
Hubris, all that stuff.
Yeah, and it just gets a bit confusing because
there's no one focal point.
So he says basically you can interpret it however you want, and I'm not going to tell you how to interpret it.
That was a bit of a cop out.
Which seems a bit.
It really is a cop out.
Exactly. So but then if you get one interpretation. The rest of it doesn't make any sense.
What does other timelines? Yes.
And then there's the like we were saying before, the yellow liquid she drinks.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully explained.
It's in the trailer. Yeah, I saw that.
It's in the trailer, but then they don't explain why she drinks it. You know that she sort of like gets dizzy and then she drinks it.
Is it some sort of sedative? What is it?
Yeah, and it like sparkles and it's all CGI and that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it just
there's a lot of things to improve. Basically, a lot of things.
I was talking to my friend afterwards, and we were like, even after we read all of the interpretations, we were like, no.
Even still,
it's just messed up. It really is.
I suppose that makes a difference. So that probably shows the critic side and audience side of things. The audience seem to be a bit more like, huh?
Yeah.
The critics are like, okay, at least he tried something.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. He tried something new. He wrote something new.
I was going to say, it is something. Hollywood does get criticised for churning out sequels, the same kind of movie over and over again.
It's not a reboot, it's not a sequel, it's not a prequel.
Yeah, at least it's a new attempt. And, if it fails, it fails. But, it's out there. I mean, it's like, what was that film that came out in the year? A Cure for Wellness.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest of films, but at the same time, I was like, no, it's something different. It's a brand new material. I've not seen this before, this type of thing. And you got to give it some credit for that, I suppose. I mean, otherwise it could have been easy. It's gone on generic. It could have become a whole generic horror film, to be honest. From what I thought it was going to be, but clearly it became something totally different.
But I think the acting in it was
it was
good. Yeah. Like Donald Gleason was the character that kind of came back and was like, "You need to leave."
Okay.
And he's like
He's like the logic.
he's kind of the logic, but again.
You don't want to think I don't even think about
it. It makes my head hurt.
Right, so let's cap this review. What would you say? How would you sum it up briefly, if you could, or just put a question mark?
I mean, there's this kind of question mark and a confused emoji, but
we could just review an emoji. Which emoji
should we do that?
Is this
no,
one?
Let's not. No, it's seriously messed up, and not just because it's a bit of a mess, interpretation and representation wise, but also because of that scene at the end. It's messed up.
Yeah, I heard about that scene. I'm like, what? Okay, fascinating, interesting. I don't know.
People be crazy.
I don't even know why that's in your head to even put it on a piece of paper. The fact that you even thought about that, to put on a piece of paper.
Like, I mean, they could have done about half that scene and it would have been like, I mean, you're messed up, but you're not that messed up. The second half of that scene, no. The third act was just an absolute, like, it's just an explosion.
Explosion of madness.
Of just absolute madness.
Fair enough. So it's so if you don't know, if you want to see something a bit different, a bit weird, a bit messed up, go ahead and enjoy this. Yeah. See what, you know, because it's got mixed reviews. Some love it, some hate it. So, you know, definitely.
See if you understand what Aronofsky is trying to do.
And if you do, let him know.
Yeah, because no one else knows.
Even he's like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he's just like, just take it how you want. I'm not going to tell you how to take it.
Right. So moving on to a film that's a bit more easier to follow. Next up is...
So much easier.
Yeah. Next up is Kingsman: Golden Circle.